Josh, just want to quickly get your breakdown. I've been walking around here getting everybody's just thoughts. Tyron Woodley against Jake Paul. What do you think of the fight?
I think it's an actual good fight for Tyron Woodley to make his debut as a boxer. Jake Paul has been proven that he has a little bit of talent, and we'll see how much he grows on it. I believe his confidence is high after he finished Ben Askren the way he did. I think there's a lot of things on the line right now. I think this is a great opportunity for Tyron Woodley to make a lot of money. I believe he's making more money than he ever did throughout his career in MMA. So this is a good opportunity for him to coat his pockets. And it's another opportunity for Jake Paul to prove to the world that he's an actual legit boxer. People in Jake Paul's camp have said that he's got skill. He got the work ethic. And he's doing this because he really wants to make a run in terms of not fighting the best guys. He doesn't want to be world champion. He wants to fight top level either MMA guys or other boxers that, you know, are looking for a payday. And that's what he wants to do. So he wants to make as much money as he can. I think it's a great avenue for these guys to do after they're done fighting, as well as just sparking the plug a little bit for the Paul brothers.
Do you like the fight in terms of how they stack up with each other for Tyron, or do you think Tyron's at a disadvantage given that Jake's been training boxing longer?
Yeah, so I look at it as Tyron is at a disadvantage because here, Tyron also is coming off of losses. 4 in a row. In all 4 of those losses, and Tyron's he's one of my favorite fighters. He's a great guy, but the biggest thing with him though is that he didn't win any of those rounds off of those 4 losses. He lost every single round, and so when it comes down to it, his confidence is not the same as, you know, going into this fight as it was when he was the champion of the UFC. With Jake Paul, he's coming off of a great knockout. He's had some good fights. You know, I think he's ready for that step up in competition, and this is a big step up for him as well. But I think the longer the fight goes, the more it favors Jake, because the one thing you can't make up in terms of a 10-week camp is learning how to relax in the boxing ring, knowing if Jake Paul puts pressure. Tyron has been known to slow down. I think he'll be 40 by the time this fight happens, or he's 39. So I've been there. I understand that it's hard to fight at a pace of a young guy pace, you know. And the other thing is, well, Jake Paul will be bigger than him. So can he handle the pressure? Can he handle the size, the hanging up? If Jake Paul clinches him and hangs on him a little bit, will that slow Tyron down because he is older? You know, those are all questions to be answered. I think Tyron has a good chance of getting him out of there, I say, in the first 2.5, maybe 3 rounds. After that, though, I think I start favoring Jake Paul.
Do you see Tyron winning? Like, are you picking Tyron to win the fight?
Yeah, I'm picking Tyron to win the fight. I think, look, I'm not going to rule out someone who's a former champion. He's got the heart of a lion. I know that. I mean, you saw his last fight with Vicente Luque. He tried to get him out of there. He did everything he could. You know, he just wasn't able to get it done. He's coming up against a young, up-and-coming star, you know, and that's kind of what he's battling now in Jake Paul. But Jake Paul's not at the level of someone like a Vicente Luque with all the experience. I think the experience will play a factor a little bit, but the problem is, though, is that Jake Paul may have the equalizer in terms of experience of boxing. Sure, we train fighting. We train boxing in the ring. I mean, in the cage and also in training camps. But it's not the same. It's not the same. I've sparred with guys like Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Man, he's a freaking stud. But I was his first 4 rounds out of 12 rounds of him sparring with other guys that were way better. I was the warm-up rounds, and that's kind of how top-level boxers look at MMA guys when it comes to just boxing. It doesn't matter how much we train boxing. It doesn't translate as well in a short duration like Tyron's having the opportunity to train for. He needed more time. I would have liked to have seen him have a full 6 months, you know, or 7 months of a full camp for this. That's not what he's going to get. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to produce, you know, after all the trash talk back and forth. Look, the other thing as well, nobody wants a tattoo of another man on them, so they're going to have to buck this up, baby. T. Wood's got to get it done.
Yeah, I was going to get to that, man. We saw Ben. He didn't get the result. He got knocked out. But Ben's never been a stand-up guy. We all knew that going into it. None of us thought that Ben would get finished the way he was, but also Ben is also older as well. And that's the other thing as well, is that when you get older, you just don't take the damage like you used to when you were younger. Ben took a lot of damage throughout his career. Even with his wrestling, his potential, he took a ton of damage. You know, he had some fights over in one where he fought Sapo, I believe his name was, and Sapo was able to hit him with some knees, huge knees, and do a lot of damage to him, as well as in some fights in Bellator. He took a lot of damage in some of those fights. And then obviously when he got into the UFC, when he was older, he'd been out of the game for a while and came back. It was like, okay, like he was never a stand-up guy. So I'm not going to compare him, even though him and T. Wood are friends. I'm not going to put Ben Askren on the level of a stand-up guy as a Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley has knockout power.
Okay, it may not be one crunch knockout power, but he can piece you up, and he's got some speed for 39 years old. He still has speed. I've worked with him, I've trained with him, wrestled with him, sparred with him, all those things. He's got speed. So if he touches Jake Paul at the right time, in the right moment, or if Jake is stepping in, I can see it being lights out. So we're gonna see if he can get it done. I'm rooting for him. You know, I'm obviously on T Wood's side. T Wood's my boy, and I got a lot of respect for him. So I hope he gets it done.
Is it gonna hurt you if he loses because he's being seen as he's representing MMA? You know?
I don't even believe in that representing MMA stuff. He's gonna hurt me like Ben when Ben lost is because I like both of them. I've trained with both of them. They're both great guys. That's the other thing is, in the MMA world, we know each other. Sure, maybe we never fought, but we've trained him in the same gyms, or his friends are my friends, and we just know each other through mutual, acquaintances or people that we've trained with. And so that's what hurts, is when you see people that you know, people that you've hung out with, people you've shared a beer with, people you've been out at the pool with, people you've been out with, whatever it is. Those things, you start to build a relationship and a bond with those people, and even if it's just as being an acquaintance, there's a lot to be said about just that relationship you build, as you guys are both MMA fighters. It's not about you representing the sport, it's about you just representing you as a fighter and as an athlete, as being one of the top guys that you were in the world. And so I wish him the very best, and I hope he gets it done.
In terms of legacy, do you think it hurts his legacy?
No, absolutely not. Different sport, different times. Look, when you look back at guys like Muhammad Ali, you guys look at Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, BJ Penn. I don't look at any of their stuff. When we look back at their stuff, and I look at some of their beginning fights, and I don't look at the stuff towards the end of their career. You don't go back and say, hey, Muhammad Ali lost his last 7 fights. No one looks at that. No one says that. Okay, Randy Couture lost his last fight. No one looks at that. No, I don't. Chuck Liddell lost his last 3 or 4, I believe. Maybe 4, 4 or 5, somewhere in there. I don't look at that. BJ Penn's lost, I think, 5 or 6 in a row. I don't look at that because I know what they were when they were in their prime. This is a young man's sport now. Before, you used to be able to get away with it. Randy Couture get away with it. Dan Severn get away with it. Mark Coleman can get away with it being older. But guess what? The talent level now has grown. These guys like AJ McKee, right? They've been training since he was 3 years old. I was in the UFC when he was born. That's kind of where we're at right now. The talent has grown. These guys are so young. They've come up learning the sport of MMA. That's the difference. And so, I don't think he reps. I think he just reps himself, and he does a great job.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.